Hi friends! You might remember this sweater. It's my stripy sleeve sweater. I designed it myself. It's super comfy, it's super cozy, but these sleeves, they're something else. They're pretty big. So today we're going to do something about that. As you can see, I originally designed them to be loose and baggy, but unfortunately, when I push them up my arms, they just don't stay. So I'll show you what I'm going to do about it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out exactly how much loose fabric I have and place some pins, in this case stitch markers, to mark out the line where I'm going to sew the sleeve together and then cut off the extra fabric. This is pretty common in sewing when you're using, like woven fabrics, so there is no reason why it shouldn't work in knitting as well. I know a lot of people are scared of cutting into their knitted fabric. However, I am going to be sewing it in place first, so we should be good to go. So I've just marked out my line with the pins here. And now we're going to turn the sleeve inside out to be able to sew. So you can see there I've got that nice shallow sleeve that I was looking for. Making sure it's all nice pinned out. That's the silhouette I'm going for. Got my supplies here, a length of yarn. I also have a darning needle and some scissors. And this is the point where I realize I've made a huge mistake. Can you spot the mistake? If I were to sew along this line, then my excess fabric would be on the outside of the sleeve instead of the inside of the sleeve where it is hidden. So I need to unpin what I've just done and then repin it so that my seam is on the inside. So this is going to be a little bit more neater, a little bit more hidden. And that was just me checking to make sure that it still fits. So here we go. I could have used a darker yarn that matched, however, this is the only ball I have left of the Hobby Amigo, which is what most of the sweater was made out of. And I'm just going to use a very, very simple, I don't even think it's a whip stitch, it's a running stitch, I believe, to sew a straight line from pin to pin. Just finishing up my straight line here, making sure that that's not going anywhere. I'm not weaving in my ends just yet. I'm going to do a quick try on, and as you can see, it is tight, but not too tight. There is some excess bulk from the extra fabric, but I will be cutting that away at the end of the process. And most importantly, when I push up the sleeve, it stays. Alright, so we're just doing we're unpinning it here, and then I'm going to do the second sleeve in the same manner, just using the first sleeve as a template. So folding it right back along that same line that I just sewed, putting some pins in. As I've said before, I'm not the greatest sewist in the world. I'm sure there are many more proper techniques that I could have used in this project. For example, not knotting my yarn like I did just then. However, I'm not great at sewing. I embrace this. I sew the way that works for me, and it's just going on my body, and it isn't going to be professionally shown anywhere. Same process, just sewed straight along that line between the pins. And I'm just finishing off here, unpinning my work, and weaving in my ends. Making sure I collect all of my pins so that the cats don't accidentally eat them. Make sure all my ends are nice and tight so nothing's going to slip out. That is the problem with using acrylic yarn instead of a nylon or cotton thread. You have to be very careful to secure your ends. And there we go. So I have sewn my darts in, and the final step will be to snip all that excess fabric away. I did not film this process, but I'm just going to cut straight along those lines. I'm going to leave myself maybe 3/4 of an inch of a seam just to make sure that my yarn doesn't start unraveling. And here we go. Here's the finished product. I think that looks pretty awesome. Like, look at that. It's nice and slim. My stripes match up. You can see a little bit of the white yarn that I used, and you can also see a little bit of the extra fabric. However, that can all be fixed with a few more stitches, a little bit of a snip. I'm really happy with this change, and it's going to make me wear this sweater a lot more than I have been.